What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing I Will Find You, the new Netflix limited series that dropped June 18th and has been trending in over 90 countries. That is not a small number. That means people in places that don't even share a language sat down, pressed play, and did not get up until it was over. And I get it, because I Will Find You has one of the most compelling setups I have seen on a streaming service in a long time. Not complicated, not pretentious, just a simple, devastating gut punch of a premise that grabs you by the collar in the first 5 minutes and does not let go. So let's get into it. First, who is Harlan Coben and why should you care? Because this show did not come from nowhere. Harlan Coben is a best-selling novelist who has created 13 wide series for Netflix. Runaway, Fool Me Once, Missing You, The Stranger, Safe. People keep watching his adaptations because the man has a formula and it works every single time. You get a hook so good it almost feels unfair. You get characters who all seem normal until they absolutely are not. You get twists that come out of nowhere and land like a slap. And you get that dangerous one more episode feeling that has you watching the finale at 4 a.m. on a work night, asking yourself where the last 8 hours went. This is also the first of Coben's novels that Netflix has adapted into an American setting. Every single previous adaptation was set in the UK, so when I Will Find You opens in a prison in Maine, yes, Maine, America, it already feels different. It feels closer, more personal, more real. And that matters, because what this show is about to put you through requires you to feel every second of it. Let me set the scene properly because the setup of this show deserves its own standing ovation. David Burrows, played by Sam Worthington, is sitting in a prison cell. He is 5 years into a life sentence, convicted of the most unthinkable crime a man can commit. The murder of his own 3-year-old son, his little boy, Matthew, beaten to death in their family home in the middle of the night. The evidence against David was overwhelming. DNA, an eyewitness. The court looked at everything and made its decision. His wife, Cheryl, played by Erin Richards, left him, remarried, is pregnant with another man's child. His own father, a former Boston cop, doesn't believe him. The entire world has looked at David Burrows and decided he is a monster. And David sits in that cell every single day, quiet, maintaining his innocence to anyone who will listen, which at this point is nobody. Now picture that man. 5 years of that. 5 years of being called a baby killer. 5 years of knowing what you know and having zero power to prove it. 5 years of carrying a grief so heavy it would have broken anyone else. And then one day, a visitor. His ex-sister-in-law, Rachel Mills, shows up at the prison. Played by Britt, who you might know from Severance, Rachel is a former Boston Globe journalist. Fired, but not finished. She is sharp, stubborn, and she is carrying something that is about to tear David's entire existence open. A photograph, recent, clear, taken at an amusement park. A boy with an unmistakable facial birthmark that only one child in the world has. Matthew, his son, alive. Now here is where most shows would slow down. Have a long conversation, bring in lawyers, file a motion, follow the proper channels. Not David Burrows. This man breaks out of prison. No plan, no resources, no allies except Rachel, who is risking everything to help him. With the FBI now on his trail, led by father-daughter agent duo Max Williams, played by Chi McBride, and Sarah Greer, played by Logan Browning, David is now a fugitive. A convicted child murderer on the run, trying to find a son the entire world thinks is dead. And that is just episode 1. What follows across 8 episodes is one of the most relentlessly paced thrillers Netflix has put out this year. Every episode ends with something that makes you immediately reach for the next one. Every character you think you understand turns out to be hiding something. Every answer David and Rachel find creates 3 new questions. The show builds its web slowly, carefully, and then pulls everything tight in the final 2 episodes in a way that genuinely catches you off guard. Sam Worthington is the engine of this whole thing. He plays David with a dogged, quiet desperation that works really well. This is a man running on pure love and conviction and nothing else. He's not witty, he's not charming, he's just a father who refuses to stop. And Worthington makes you believe every single second of that. Britt as Rachel is the other standout. She brings a dry humor to the role that sneaks up on you. Just enough lightness to keep the show from suffocating under its own tension. Her chemistry with Worthington is the emotional backbone of the entire series. Now let me be honest with you, because that is what this channel is about. I Will Find You is not a perfect show, not even close. The biggest problem is the pacing in the middle episodes, because the show has 3 separate storylines running at the same time: David on the run, Rachel investigating, and the FBI chasing both of them. You sometimes get the same information delivered 3 times by 3 different characters in 3 consecutive scenes. It gets repetitive. It gets frustrating. There are moments where you want to scream at the screen, just get to the point already. There are also plot conveniences that are hard to ignore once you notice them. David leaps off a building and lands perfectly on a moving truck. Characters suddenly have skills they definitely did not have 2 episodes ago. The FBI seems to locate David within minutes in some scenes and then completely lose him for days in others. Logic takes a few days off in the middle stretch. And some of the supporting characters exist purely to deliver exposition. They show up, explain what is happening, and disappear. You never get to know them as people. They are just moving pieces on a board. The critics were divided on this one. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 61%. Some reviewers called it gripping and immersive. Others called it a disposable mixture of red herrings and illogical resolutions. Metacritic sits at 55 out of 100, mixed reviews across the board. But here's the thing about Harlan Coben adaptations that critics sometimes miss. They are not made to be studied. They are made to be experienced. You don't watch I Will Find You to admire the craft. You watch it because you need to know if Matthew is alive. You watch it because you cannot stop. And on that level, the only level that actually matters when you sit down on your couch on a Friday night, this show absolutely delivers. I Will Find You is streaming right now on Netflix. 8 episodes. Watch it this weekend and come back to the comments to tell me what you thought of that finale, because I have questions. Drop your rating below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button because we do this every single week. New reviews, new picks, straight to the point, no fluff. I'll see you in the next one.